We never put the appeals on the agenda, so I'm glad you asked.
Yeah, I didn't.
Well, there's no appeal. They would do it.
Yeah, I wonder why, I mean, I read through it. Did they fix the panel or just?
It was a maintenance issue, so yeah, maybe they're like, you're right, it's terrible, we're gonna take it down.
Appreciate you bringing it.
Plus, it would always be easier to appeal than fix it, than not appeal, and not be able to fix it, you know.
That's important, that's.
Reserve your right.
Absolutely.
But it was a- no, it was- that's not really very exception one, is it? Yeah.
I get it. You didn't miss much.
What is the future of the wire?
We good?
Yeah.
Good. Good. Okay, let's call the June City of Columbus Graphics Commission meeting into session. Jamie, do we have any preliminary matters?
No, we don't.
Great. I will now hand it over to our attorney to do his thing.
If you plan on providing testimony today, when you come up to the table, raise your right hand. Even if you're not sure, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that all the information you will provide will be true to the best of your belief and or knowledge? If so, say I do. Thank you.
Great. Your mic work? We good? Okay. Let's call our first case, application number GC 24-011, 5900 Old Hamilton Road. Mr. Smith.
59 Old Hamilton Road is located on the east side of Old Hamilton Road, approximately 630 feet south of East Double Granville Road. It's zone CPD, Commercial Plan District, and it's located in the Northland Community Council. The 3.56 acre site is currently undeveloped. The majority of surrounding properties are currently vacant in zone CPD. The remaining surrounding uses include a commercial shopping plaza, with multi-unit dwellings to the west, a car wash to the north, and a salon and restaurant to the south. The applicant proposes to establish a graphics plan for a commercial shopping plaza, including tenant panel signs on a ground sign with a brick base and wall signs on elevations without a public entrance. This parcel was part of a graphics plan GC 20-037 that covered a larger area. The existing graphics plan allows wall signs on elevations without a public entrance. To reduce the portion of the ground sign graphic area devoted to identifying the entire use, to increase the number and size of wall signs, and to allow the ground sign with a brick base. The Northland standards recommend a uniform design for individual store graphics within a commercial center, as well as ground signage that is integrated with the design of development. The proposal is consistent with these guidelines and therefore supported. Staff encourage incorporating street addresses into the proposed signage for greater consistency with these guidelines, but do not condition support on its inclusion. The Division of Traffic Management has no comments, and the Northland Community Council recommends approval with a vote of 19-0. Staff can recommend approval of the proposed graphics plan because the monument sign will be smaller than what is allowed, and wall signs will be appropriately sized while still making each tenant space easily identifiable. The proposed graphic plan is complementary to the architectural style of development.
Hi, can you please state your name for the record?
Certainly, my name is Dave Perry. I'm here as agent with, on behalf of GZD Investments 4 LLC.
I'm Greg Gallus, one of the developers of GZD Investments 4.
Great, go ahead and present your case.
Great, thank you. This is the third Greg Gallus, Jason Zade project in very close proximity to the New Hamilton and Old Hamilton area. The two previous projects had the same ground sign and same wall sign commitments. As this project does, the ground sign is shorter and less area than the code allows, but has less than 50% of the center identification as did the other two applications. The 2014 rezoning that included this property and quite a bit of other property in the relocated Hamilton area committed the entire zoning to comply with the regional commercial overlay standards, which requires a limestone base. This is the third Gallus-Zade project proposed with a brick base, and Moo Car Wash and many others along relocated Hamilton have done brick. So brick has essentially become the standard, even though the zoning says RCO for limestone.
Exactly.
And then the third component of this is uniform wall signs, where Greg and Jason have designed a wall sign that will be required for all tenants of the building. The tenants will get to design their individual copy, subject to Greg and Jason's approval. But the wall sign standard will be uniform with the size and white background and gooseneck lighting. So I've incorporated this into a graphics plan. And it is very comparable to the other two projects close to the same.
Questions? Anyone?
This is, I'll add, Chair, this is also, you all may not be familiar that the relocated Hamilton corridor is a Casto and Albany company and Daimler development. And
A number of those in front of us here.
yeah, there is the Hamilton Corridor Design Review Board, and this has been through and approved by the board also.
Okay. No questions? I'm gonna go back to your email.
Yeah.
Okay. Could I have a motion to approve the finding of fact as presented by city staff and the applicant?
Thank you. Yes, I'd like to make a motion.
You have a second?
I'll second.
We can go ahead and vote on approving finding of fact.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Hoy,
Yes.
Ms. Aug. Mr. Robo,
Yes.
Chair Cooperman,
Yes, and now can I have a motion to approve the application based on the approved finding of fact?
I'll make a motion to approve GC 24-011.
Second,
Second.
we can go ahead and vote.
Mr. Hoy,
Yes.
Mr. Rumbaugh,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Chair Cooperman.
Yes, and your application is approved. Thank you.
Very good, thank you.
Okay. Next case is GC 24-012, 1250 Gemini Place. Mr. Kirk?
Yes, GC 24-012 at 1250 Gemini Place is located on the north side of Gemini Place, approximately 1,000 feet east of Antares Avenue. Existing zoning is R Rural District. It's part of the Far North Columbus Communities Coalition. The 35-acre site is currently developed with a church. Surrounding uses include multi-unit dwellings to the north and east, single unit dwellings to the west, and offices and retail to the south. The applicant proposes to install a wall sign and directional ground sign in a residentially zoned parcel. The applicant is requesting variances to allow a second permanent identification sign in a residentially zoned district, to increase the allowable graphic area for two wall signs from 32 square feet to 186 square feet for sign A, and 526 square feet for sign B, to increase the allowable height for a sign from 12 feet to 37 feet for sign A and 53 feet for sign B, and to increase the allowable graphic area for a directional sign from 4 square feet to 6 square feet, and to allow said sign to be placed on site with no street frontage. The Far North Area Plan recommends signage be compatible with the size and scale of the building and streetscape, and discourages signs that interfere with visual character. Proposal is consistent with these guidelines and therefore supported by planning. Division of Traffic Management has no comments, and the Far Northwest Area Commission recommends approval of the requested variances, voting unanimously in favor. City Department's recommendation is that approval as well. Staff can recommend approval of the requested variances as the increase in sign height, graphic area, and number allowed are necessitated by the fact that the property is located on a private street and is far removed from the nearest public road, being Gemini Place. There was one email that we received from the public speaking against a recommendation that has been included.
Have you submitted that?
Yep, it's
Yeah, I know it's in front of us, but you submitted on the record, or you want to?
oh, we will, but we can make sure that's is submitted to, evidence. It was from, let's see, a W Barker. I'm not sure.
Nancy Barker.
Looks like so, it must have been her. Yeah.
Okay, please state your name for the record,
Jared Norton, I'm the applicant.
and you've been sworn in.
Yes, I have.
Go ahead and please present.
Thank you, Mr. Kirk, for that presentation. I'll follow on that with stating, this is a very large property with a very large new addition going up. And because it is zoned rural residential, we're very limited in what we can do from a signage standpoint. But we've designed a sign package that we feel fits the size and scale of the building appropriately. Granted, they are large signs, but if you look at the measurements on these elevations, it's a very, very large building that's going up currently. And we feel that these are appropriate given the size of the building. And then that very small ground sign is really just there to help direct pedestrian traffic as they enter the site, get to the offices of this church in this new building. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Can you maybe explain a little bit what your hardship is, why you believe this variance is warranted based on the site configuration or whatnot?
Sure. So the site is very distant from Gemini. You can see that little, I guess, drive shown there. That's how you enter the site. So you really get minimal visibility from Gemini. There is a ground sign out there that has a panel for Rock City, but I guess that would be sign B. As you head down that small entry drive, that's the sign that will sort of grab your attention and direct you towards the property and the parking lot. So that's what that sign is there to sort of help with, and you can see it's placed above the entry doors there. Sign A, which is on the west elevation, is not seen from the road. It is seen from the large parking lot. If you go to the site plan, this is where the majority of guests in the public will park. And again, it is near the entry doors to sort of funnel foot traffic to that entry point.
Where's Gemini placed on this?
It is a weird configuration. Big
North
apostrophe.
Coast,
Do you go back to the site, the parcel? Yeah.
There's no sign at the drive. It's just on the building, right?
There is a sign out on Gemini that currently says Rock City Church.
But the variance isn't for them.
No, it's
There's just for
So
for areas.
sign A actually faces the residential district.
It would be, be facing this direction. Yeah, northwest.
And I will add that there are some trees that separate, some large trees that separate that residential district from the property. I don't know if you can see that in that view, but they're pretty good sized trees.
Any questions? Oh, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, is it illuminated?
It is, yes. Both wall signs are illuminated.
Me, it seems real well justified because of the gigantic nature of the building and when you drive in, you know, it helps reinforce the whole thing. To me, it looks good.
Okay, I think it's scaled.
Keep your voice up so the current person, I'm gonna scale for recording.
I think having driven this, that building is so far back off the road. The only thing you're really seeing from an identity standpoint is what's there right now on the roadway. So I don't take any exception.
No conditions are being requested, and it doesn't look like.
No issues.
Okay, can I have a motion to adopt the finding of effect as presented by city staff and the applicant?
Make a motion to adopt the facts stated by staff and applicant.
Second? Second. We can vote on that.
Mr. Romo?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Hoy? Yes. Chair Cooperman?
Yes, and now we can, do I have a motion to approve the application based on the approved finding of fact?
Yeah, motion to approve GC 24-012.
I'll second.
We can go ahead and vote.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Hoy?
Yes.
Mr. Romo?
Yes.
Chair Cooperman?
Yes, your application is approved.
Thank you.
Next case, GC 24-013, 6239 Hayden Run Road. The applicant, please come forward.
Hi, I'm Lenny Mail. I'm the applicant as well as one of the developers and owners of the property. It's GC 24-013, 6239 Hayden Road.
We'll get to you in a second.
Is your microphone on? Is it, does that light lit?
It should be a green light.
Yeah.
Is it lit up?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was on. Jamie, your case.
Sure. Okay, 6239 Hayden Run Road is located on the south side of Hayden Run Road, approximately 400 feet east of Leopard Road. The site is in the TC Town Center District with traditional neighborhood development. The site is also within the Hayden Run West Civic Association. The 1 acre site is developed with a children's daycare. Again, in the town center of the sub-district of the traditional neighborhood development zoning district. Surrounding uses include a proposed convenience store and fuel station to the northwest, vacant land to the north, and multi-unit residential to the northeast and east and south. The applicant is proposing the installation of 10 wall signs and 1 monument ground sign. The wall sign to be installed on the northeast elevation will be 42 3/4 inches tall, with a total of 36 square feet. And the wall sign to be installed on the northwest elevation will be 42 inches tall, for a total of 35 square feet. The 2 sets of wall signs to be installed on the entry pillars will be 4 2x2 squares, with a total of 32 square feet. And then a 5 foot tall by 9 foot wide monument sign will be installed at a 0 foot setback from the Hayden Run Road right of way line, and a 3 foot and 4 1/4 inch setback from the southeast property line.
If I can jump in while they ask.
No, you can't. Well, technically it's 10.
Okay.
The wall pillar signs each count as 4.
Oh, great.
4 plus 4 is 8, plus 2 wall signs is 10, plus and minus.
I didn't know each block was individual. Sorry about that.
The reason I gave the height restriction in the proposal is because the T&D limits signage to no more than 1 integral sign and 1 blade sign for each retail establishment on each side, and no more than 24 inches tall. So variances, again, go from 24 inches to 42 inches respectively for each side. T&D does not provide for ground signs either. So Columbus citywide planning policy supports monument style signs to not exceed 6 feet in height. The design guidelines support wall signs and notes that they should be sized to be fit within the building's facade design. The Division of Traffic Management initially stated that a minimum setback of 2 feet should be maintained for the proposed monument sign along Hayden Run Road. This would be to minimize the impact of obstructions to the existing sidewalk along Hayden Run Road during installation and maintenance of the sign, and to minimize risk of impacts to the sign during potential future maintenance. In consideration, the sign has already been installed. The Division of Traffic Management defers to the Graphics Commission. The Hayden Run West Civic Association recommends approval, and city staff department recommendation is partial approval. Although the community does not provide for ground signs, staff can recommend approval as a Columbus citywide county policy to support monument style signs do not exceed 6 feet in height. Proposed monument sign is 5 feet in height. Stated above, the C2P2 design guidelines support wall signs and notes that they should be sized fit within the building facade design. Therefore, staff can recommend approval to the wall signs on the northeast and northwest elevations as presented. However, staff is recommending disapproval to the 8 wall signs on the entry pier pillars. Per 3375.02, the Columbus Graphics Code, Section F states that a general objective is to reduce visual clutter by controlling the number, size, and location of private signs. Mr. Chairman.
Okay, go ahead and please state your name for the record again.
Lenny Mail,
Could you spell it, please?
LENNI.
David Blucher.
Okay, go ahead and present your case. Oh, sorry, Reed, are you sworn in?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, please present your case.
We're here to discuss the signage for, it's called the learning experience. We actually have a representative of the tenant with us today. In terms of the signage on columns that you're speaking of, those are part of their brand and they really aren't cluttered. They're actually wooden and built into the columns. And can I have him speak at all? Okay, would you like to speak to this as part of TLE and the brand part?
Sure.
It's the tenant requirements that we have those columns and signs.
Can you please state your name for the
Scott
record?
Rayfield, TLE Construction Manager.
I'm sorry, Scott.
Scott Rayfield,
Rayfield?
B as in boy, RAYFIELD.
And you've been sworn in?
No,
Raise your right hand. Do you swear that all the information you provide will be true to the best of your belief or knowledge, and so say I do?
I do.
Just lean into the mic.
I do. Scott Rayfield, TLE Construction Manager.
Okay.
In terms of the sign, they say that they're cluttered on the columns.
Use the microphone.
They were speaking about the columns on the front of the building signage. And they're saying it's clutter and I want, as the tenant, want you to speak to us to the brand.
So the block signage in the front of the buildings are consistent with every building that we have. A, B, C, D on one side, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the side. White acrylic, not lit in any way, shape, or form. All the blocks are in accent colors. There are very, very few times that we've run into any instances where they are not allowed. However, they're really just aesthetic more than anything else, just to present that, you know, this is a daycare, just to add to the facade and a little bit more to the uniqueness of the actual brand. Every single TLE across the country bears those, and that's actually part of, you know, the signage and the actual branding along with the elephant logo.
You want to speak?
Yeah, please. Also, what we'd like to say is that the blocks, and excuse me, I get a little bit of hoarseness from allergies. Those are an integral part of the structure. And quite frankly, we didn't realize in the beginning that they would even be considered as signage. So those were built by, you know, the contractor, you know, through the architect to create an integral part of the structure, and it is part of the branding. So again, we'd ask that the commission favorably consider it. We do understand what staff has said, but it's an important part of the brand, I think, as Mr. Brayfield has indicated, and is part of all of the other locations they have in this market as well as across the country.
So it looks like the graphics plan that you're proposing has got a number of variances included within it that vary from the code. Can you explain what hardship if you have related to the property or configuration of the site that would warrant these variances from the code?
Sure. Because of the traffic pattern on Hayden Run Road as it pertains to Leopard, it's kind of a slanted.
Can you zoom out a little bit? I'm trying to think of where it is.
Leopard would be on the north part of that.
Northwest would be Leopard.
6239.
Because the flow of the traffic, it's a heavy traffic, heavily trafficked road. The visibility would lend itself to having larger signs. For instance, the northeast and the northwest side of the building has a facade that would require 42. I think we were asking for actually 43 inches versus the 24 inches for visibility purposes and brand recognition, and to attract potential parents to the daycare preschool.
Is there a site plan in here which shows the configuration of the building? Did I just miss it? I'm sure.
Yes. There it is. The entry of the building faces to the northeast.
So it's all paved and run?
Yeah, but as you're entering off of the northwest, there's kind of a pass-through area as well, which is why we and the tenant have requested the signage there so that you have some visibility from Leopard as well as Hayden Run. It's sized appropriately, we believe, considering the scale of the building. It's a 10,000 square foot building. And it's got, high ceilings and everything, so we think that that creates an opportunity as the cars are traveling along there. It's pretty quick traffic, so in order to see anything, you're generally just going to get a glimpse of it, and therefore the size, makes a lot of sense.
None of the sites affect any of the surrounding neighborhood. In the way they're situated for these.
Is the ground side proposed to be above 6 feet?
That's fine.
No, it's 5 feet.
Okay.
The monument base is already in there, and it's 6 feet, 5 feet.
It's 5 feet.
We're considering each one of these individual signs.
It's all part of a graphics.
It's part of the graphics plan, but 1, 2, 3, 4, ABCD. So those are individual signs, yeah.
Oh, you're counting 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, ABCD as 8 separate signs?
That's what I didn't realize as well.
I see.
That's how we get to 10.
It's basically, it's a column that's built together in the boxes. It's 120 inches high. And it's basically 34 inches wide. Each block is 24, but when they're turned, it gets to 34. So they're actually, the building's completed and they're an integral part of the structure of those entrances.
The disapproval from staff is about those.
I didn't hear you say.
Sorry, the disapproval from staff is about that 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
ABCD.
Yeah, we're okay with the 2 other wall signs and the ground sign, because that was the comment from the staff.
If the blocks had, instead of A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, let's say like they had like picture, I don't know, like the music that, I don't know what, icons would fit in there. But would that, at that point, would that be a sign then, or would it be architectural features?
Yeah, it goes back to our discussions we've had in the past about, what constitutes a mural, what constitutes on-site advertising and copy. So we would consider this advertising and copy.
Like if it was, but it would depend on what the icon was, right? I guess.
So like the Donatos we approved on High Street, they had that mural from the pizza.
Yeah,
That's not a mural. If
Yeah.
it was, like fish or something, then it would.
But if they had like one of them had a music in there, does that get to note that it's a, I don't know, I'm just pulling this out. Because they had the
Why
block.
don't we just discuss what's being proposed?
Yeah, oh yeah, right.
And
But it is, what I'm hearing is on all these other locations, you have this, the blocks, and it does have a big look to it all.
Yeah, that was great nationwide.
Can I bring this up here to show you?
No.
Thank you. Yeah.
How did the civic association vote on this one? We know,
Approval.
I know approval, but what was the?
Was unanimous.
So like if it had just the colors, then we aren't talking sign.
Correct.
So, obviously, so as the fee hasn't been applied to this yet. But I guess.
In other words, the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, ABCD letters have not been painted on here yet.
They're vinyl.
Because we don't have signage.
Right, it's an applique.
Yeah, it's sort of white plexi.
Right.
Yeah,
Got
it just looks blank.
Just remind everyone, please speak one at a time.
My apologies, my first time doing this.
Can we add these to the record? Exhibits, do you mind?
How about, is the aggregate square footage of allowable signage, what's that compared to what they have now?
Well, the TND is a unique zoning district. It doesn't have hidden elements like the rest of the chapter. It's just got
I forget the people, they're just like, you have to earn points
Okay.
to get this approved. So they earn enough points to have the TND approved. And within the subcategories, there are approvable and unapprovable standards. And the standard for signage is 2 types of signs: a wall sign 24 inches tall and a blaze.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't familiar with
So
that.
that's why we're doing a draft plan, because this really doesn't fit the TND code section for graphics, but the graphics plan could be.
So the ABC 1, 2, 3, 4 that you see, ABCD, is what you would find in their other locations that are open in this market currently.
When we're asking for a variance because it's our understanding that the TND district is kind of an older zoning code and not used very much anymore. I mean, I tried to look it up on the zoning map, and I didn't see very many places that have this district. But it does add to the neighborhood overall. It's a positive thing for the neighborhood. The neighbors are excited about it, and we are asking for a variance to keep the brand and for you guys to approve our variances.
But you can't have that without the letter. I mean, there is no, it isn't signed at that point.
Right.
Just so that you know that, how this all turns out.
So for myself, the bigger ask is for the signs and the size of the signs. If the ABCD 1, 2, 3, 4 need to be off of those blocks, I mean, if I can keep my colors, that's fantastic. If that's, some sort of a, an agreement that can be seen, that's the bigger ask, is for those building signs.
It's a weird one, right? Like, it's the gray area that we've come across in the precedent setting that this could have things that we haven't seen yet, like this thing, right? Like,
To be honest, I think it's art, like, just.
well,
because-
that's what I want. Who determines what we consider a sign? Are we just
We
doing
do.
that? Are we doing that right now?
Well, it's been determined is a sign, and if you're okay with it, well, yes. but
Why is it determined it's a sign?
It's got copy.
So it's copy.
Yeah, but how do you?
Copy
Just
represents
because it's a
date.
letter doesn't mean it's a copy.
Yeah.
Well, it's also art depicting what kids play with too. It just happens to have that word. It's fine.
Yeah, it's like that. This is the oddest case of the copy. See my head.
Now, if it had like a building, the blocks, kids' blocks have like outlines on it. You make it look like that.
What's been to your point?
Sounds like-
it's a music note copy.
If it was a music store, yes.
And rabbit, like could be anything, right?
If it's at that store, yes. Right, a music room, a rabbit computer, I would say no.
So like, you get.
Childcare isn't ABC 1, 2, 3.
I'm sorry, they're what?
I said so childcare doesn't depict 1, 2, 3 ABC.
It does.
It does, that's what we're saying.
Yeah, okay.
So if you didn't have that on it,
Right.
but if you had the design like that, like block has, sometimes they have an outline on it and, that's all, we are discussing it as a sign at that point.
Right.
It's just, so so that could connect.
Yeah, I mean, as is, they're just colorful columns, right?
Yeah. Neat looking.
It's unique.
I don't think something is, it doesn't bother me, especially because it's inside the columns, you can't be really seen.
I'm just worried about the next one that comes. It's the same exact thing.
I have a quick
Could be
question.
pizza boxes stacked up. Then
Sure, it could be a little animal,
Like
like animal,
They think like
animal on there.
No copy.
Is there a giraffe and a zebra on there or something? I don't know. You want to say something?
So question I have is, and I'm not familiar with the entire process within Columbus, but the prior meeting or prior two meetings that we had, does that have any bearing or any weight that they had approved what we presented to them prior? Or is that all just,
You talking about the local commission?
Yes.
Local area commission?
yes,
Not really. It doesn't have, I mean, we take that into consideration, that
Sure.
they, we're in support, but the ultimate decision is before us. I mean, it certainly holds weight, but it's not conclusive. That's your answer.
understood. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, Jamie, if they were animals, wouldn't be copy? Is there a way we could take the numbers out and letters out so it's not technically copy?
Just approve, something's approved, and let them figure out what they want to put on it.
I am more than fine with
Because
doing it.
that's the one
Me-
that important for that.
Or another, like bifurcated so that we approve the signs and then
Right.
come back with revised drawings of little whatever that's not considered copy.
Well, they wouldn't have to come back if they change it. Right. Right.
It wouldn't be signage anymore.
In other words, we can assign the condition that no letters or numbers be displayed on the blocks, and that's a condition.
I'm sorry, say it again.
We could approve the application with a condition that the blocks will not display any numbers or letters.
Or signs.
Right. Or copy. I mean, I'd be fine with that.
I agree to that.
You'll agree to that condition?
Absolutely.
Please attach a condition that stipulates the applicant will not display any numbers or letters or anything that would be deemed a sign or copy
On the pillars, correct?
just on the pillars, correct? On the 8 pillars, the city the city staff is defining as 8 separate signs. Based on that, can I have a motion to approve the finding of fact based on city staff and applicant?
I'll make a motion to approve the finding of facts based on city staff. I'll second that.
We can go ahead and vote on that.
Mr. Hoyt,
Yes.
Mr. Rumbaugh,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Chair Cooperman,
Yes, and can I have a motion to approve the application based on the finding of fact?
I'll make a motion to approve, GC 24013 based on the finding of facts and with the conditions stated.
Second,
I'll second.
we can go ahead and vote.
Mr. Rumbaugh,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Hoyt,
Yes.
Chair Cooperman.
Yes, the application is approved with an additional condition.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well,
You guys have a great afternoon.
okay, last case. GC 23-045-4425 East Livingston Avenue, please come here.
So, like, perhaps we don't have time. It's lots or something. What do you need?
GC 23-045 at 4425 East Livingston Avenue is located on the southeast corner of South Hamilton Road and East Livingston Avenue. It is located within the Mid-East Area Commission and existing zoning is C3 Commercial District. The 146 acre site is currently developed with a gas station. Surrounding uses include a gas station, retail to the north, retail and offices to the south, a fire station and single unit density in retail and offices to the west. The applicant proposes to replace a damaged pole sign used to display fuel pricing information. The applicant is thus requesting variances to allow a pole sign to display changeable value for fuel pricing, to allow a ground sign without a sign base, to reduce the setback for a ground sign from 15 feet to 8 feet, to increase the allowable height for a ground sign from 6 feet to 12 feet, and to increase the allowable graphic area for a ground sign from 38 square feet to 57 square feet. Planning is supportive of the variances relating to setback graphic area and automatic visual copy, but they do continue to request that the sign height be reduced to 6 feet in consistency with C2 P2 guidelines. Division of Traffic Management is supportive of the variance to reduce setback requirements from 15 feet to 8 feet for this sign. The Meetings Area Commission recommends approval of the requested variances, voting unanimously. City Department's recommendation is that approval, staff can recommend approval of the requested variances to allow, ground sign and with automatic change of copy, and to reduce the setback for a ground sign from 15 feet to 8 feet, as the sign has been revised to emulate a monument style sign, bringing it more in line with C2P2 guidelines. Furthermore, the setback reduction does not pose a traffic concern, and the use of automatic changeable copy for fuel pricing is consistent with current precedent. Staff can also recommend approval of the height and graphic area increases, as the proposed height is as close to the recommended height of 6 feet, while still being able to be read above existing landscaping on site. Chair.
Could you please state your name for the record if you intend on testifying?
Hi, my name is Rebecca Green and I'm working. Oh. Okay, can you hear me or not?
Is the green light on?
It seems to be on. I'm gonna push it and, oh, there we go. Just like.
Got it.
Or great. Rebecca Green, I'm here on behalf of the applicant and I have two other folks here as well.
Yes, Mackenzie Irwin, KINS. Federal Heat Sign Company manufacturer.
Keith Cobb, Light Tech Lighting.
Have all three of you been sworn in?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Green, present your case, please.
Great, I have a little PowerPoint or PDFs or something to take a quick look at. So if we can just move along through this is just the opening slide. So you've already seen that this is the parcel in question. This is a 0.4 acre parcel. It has been continuously used as a gas station since 1958. It's an extremely small parcel for this kind of use. Most gas stations are asking for at least an acre and a half. But I mean, obviously, since it's an old gas station, like we remember on corners from the 70s, it is a very small space. If we could keep going, more of the same. The prior tenant here was a Sunoco station. I want to stop here and take a quick look at this building. The reason our area is so small is that we calculated the area of the building that you see there, which is under the canopy, as well as that's my building. It's very small. So the area that we use to calculate the silhouette, so we can get a ground sign, is a pretty small area. Again, that is probably the original building that was on that site back in the 50s. So if we could go forward. These are just, this is what it looks like now that it's a shell. It was a Sunoco, now it's a shell. You can see that we only have, the two signs we have on the canopy are just the shell symbol, the little shell symbol. The ground sign you see there at the bottom is the old falling apart 20-foot ground sign that we want to replace. And you can see it just sits just over the canopy. The canopy is at 18 feet. Here's that is the Sunoco, the last refacing of this Sunoco sign. And it was in 20 foot with 80 square feet. That was from the application. Here's what we initially tried to propose, which was not taken well. This is our 20 foot, 81.83 square foot sign. This is very similar to the old Sunoco sign. And the next one we proposed was this, 18 square feet, same area. At this point, I'm going to stop. And I want to note that this size, the shell size at the top of that cabinet, is a standard brand size for this location, and for all locations across the world for Shell. They are, and maybe you can speak to that real quickly for me.
Well, it's obviously Shell's a global company. This is their sign standard. The 8-meter sign is what they call it. Typically, it's 26 feet tall, but it's 6.5 feet wide. That is their basic standard sign for any new signage going into a site.
And that is the width of the Shell cabinet is 6.5.
6.5,
And that's standard. So that one didn't work either. So we revised it once more and we got this one, which is a smaller shell cabinet. This one is not the 6.5 standard. It's 12 foot tall and we're down to 49 plus square feet. So we've reduced it dramatically, both in size and in area. So it's a lot thinner than what you've seen there before. Okay, let's move on. So these were my original requests, various requests. You can see the struck through ones are the ones I no longer need because we just no longer need them. It's not a pole sign anymore. That's a lot of what you're seeing there. The changeable copy, of course, I still need that because I'm in this particular district. Go ahead. And traffic was okay with my setbacks, which we appreciated the review, because it is such an incredibly tight site. But again, we still need that that we start looking for a 12-foot variant, or a 12-foot sign, which is 6-foot variance. And we need a little bit more area because our slope is smooth. Let's go through that. So these are just some concepts. These are just some ideas of what this would look like as a 12-foot sign. And again, you can see the traffic there is very dramatic. It's a dramatic, lot of cars, a lot of people turning. And the 12-foot sign is, still needed. Your average this SUV here is about 5.5 feet tall. Your average car is about 5 feet tall. So they significantly block signs. And price is the #1 reason someone turns into a gas station. It is the reason they do it, so you can continue to get through. And so we need our prices to be seen. As you can see, even at this height, it's going to be very challenging to see the price, which we think is important. If you could continue. Price, these are 16-inch letters, so they can be seen by a customer easily at about 100 feet away from it. This gives that customer at least 2 to 3 seconds to decide if that's the price that they're willing to pay and turn into our lot. You could continue. And this is, if they can't see our price, they're going to see our neighbor's price. And this is our neighbor just to our north. So as you go north on Hamilton Road is this particular site, this Shell. And if they can't see my price at the Shell station, they can definitely see that 20-foot sign price there. That gives that marathon a great advantage. These are other signs at that corner. 2 billboards, 2 20-foot signs, and 1 interesting needle. Continue. Our criteria for consideration are just what I've been talking about. It's a small, old gas station site, crammed little area. It is, and that we need to be seen. We need our prices to be seen.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Are we replacing an existing, and I might
Yeah,
be getting a couple applications confused because we've had a few of them before us, but are you relocating the sign or are you just replacing it in place?
So this all started with the Sunoco sign that was,
Right.
It got hit and damaged. And when we tried to talk about just replacing a non-conforming sign under those rules, because the structure was damaged, it was considered an all-new sign. That's how we got it.
But you're putting it in the exact same place or you're moving it?
We have to move it a little bit.
It is being moved. This graphic should,
This is the same application that's been before you a couple times.
Right.
Just
I heard different reasons for that, but like, so the story's changing a little bit, but so there was no possibility of reinstalling at the same exact location and configuring back, they could have still done that.
When we received comments back from Morehouse, the traffic gentleman, he indicated that he did not want it back where it was. He wanted it moved a little bit. So we moved it according to his specifications.
Interesting.
I assume he has reasons for that.
I know that's not what I remember at all, but
but he did give us an authorization to be, closer than the 15 feet.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I interrupted you.
You're fine.
Keep going.
Happy to. I don't read. So basically the criteria that we were looking at are just what we're talking about. It's a very small site. We need our prices to be seen. If our prices aren't seen, then the Marathon, who is our neighbor and competitor, is definitely going to have the advantage here. And, we want to have we want to be seen and we want to be taken seriously in this particular competitive market.
So this is your third time back. Originally you proposed 20 feet in height, and then 15 feet in height. Now you're down to 12.
Down to 12.
And you got city staff recommendation.
We have that recommendation.
That was our recommendation, our compromise with planning. So you guys say 12.
Okay. Anyone have any more questions?
No.
Can I have a motion to approve the finding of the fact as presented by applicant and city staff?
Give anybody else in the audience.
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak to this case?
No.
Okay.
Sorry. I'll make a motion to accept the finding of facts as stated by the applicant and staff.
Have a second.
I'll second.
We can go ahead and vote.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Hoy?
Yes.
Mr. Rumbaugh?
Yes.
Chair Cooperman?
Yes, we can have a motion to approve the application based on the finding of fact.
Motion to approve GC 23-045.
Have a second.
I'll second.
Mr. Hoy?
Yes.
Mr. Rumbaugh?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Chair Cooperman?
Yes, your application is approved.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
We appreciate your help.
Anything else? Good. That's it.
I was getting that.
For June, we'll see you next month.
Right.
All right.
At this time,
Those are just.
Dave, do I get a?
Oh, we're gonna start.
Do I have to sign this thing?
Mine, what is that?
I just wanted to admit it. That,
We both have grants, so that's maybe something, so.
Well, that was the one, the applicant.
all right, time out. Time out.
That was the guy that lied.
I know, no, it's not him. It was not him. Not the people here. It's a different guy.
Right, but same.
Am I wrong? Like, didn't we go over the fact that if they kept the sign and the stain